Alright, so let's go ahead and press play here. This is the first demonstration level included with the kit, or at least the lighter version of the kit. There's two versions, a Kids App version and then this version here, which has a platformer level and a kind of a top-down view. And what I'm pointing out right here, it seems like I'm quite close to death, I'm just going to pause this, is that the character, it can make these sort of micro movements using the virtual D-pad here. So you'll notice that in a second, I'll just press play again. Notice how the character moves over this way and this lights up. That's lighting up because you're pressing, or I was pressing down on the D-pad here, and then as soon as I let go, of course the character stops. Now you can also control the character with swipes, and that gives you a little bit of a different functionality because obviously a swipe event or swipe gesture doesn't have the same kind of touch up functionality. You're not pressing down while you do it, you're just doing a quick swipe. So the character can be controlled both ways, but this one gives you a little bit more of a kind of fine-tuned control where you can do things like this. Otherwise, you could swipe to move them right and then just immediately swipe back down, and of course that'll make the character stop. So anyway, in a second here I'm going to jump off to my death. There you go. You can have objects that just instantly kill you. And this time I'll avoid that platform that... Actually, I should mention this really fast. That platform, unlike these other ones right here, is affected by physics, but it's not affected by gravity. Of course, that's something you can set up with the property list. So when the character steps onto the platform, his weight is what's actually taking it down. It's not gravity. You can, though, have anything affected by gravity. You can have it affected by physics. You can toggle both of those on or off. So anyway, the character stepped on this door here that says the exit is locked somehow, and that's just a label that is getting added to the scene. You can also add images to describe things, and you'll see that over here if I ended up touching that door, which I'm sure I hopefully did. And there's a kind of a shredder wheel that's just falling down, so it's timed to fall down. And there you go. There was that image right there. It said get the key, so you get both options there. And I'll have to start back. The characters, he can get into some trouble with these slopes here. That's because he just basically is not naturally fast enough to make his way back up them. And of course that's something that you can set up on your own if you don't want that option. You just make the character run a little bit faster. That's all. It kind of comes down to numbers. Alright, so I'm going to go up here and grab that key. I got awarded a little experience points for doing that. And let me pause this again real fast. You can see that he went through this door and he came out this one. That's a kind of a portal within a level jump. Okay, and what happens here is the location just gets moved around, obviously. And a little bit, or toward the end of this video, we'll see that he goes through a portal, and that takes you to an entirely different level. But point is, you just have this option to move around anywhere within a level. So you could move from here over to someplace that is totally inaccessible through platforms or anything else, but it's just a different part within the same level. And that can maybe make things kind of easy too when you're setting up your levels, if you want to make one giant kind of tiled file to lay out kind of multiple subsections of a level. So anyway, in a second here, I guess I'll go to breaking this guy apart. He can take quite a bit of damage, as you can see is reflected up there. The health meter for any object or enemy, the two terms are synonymous, can be shown at all times, or you can just show it after you do damage to an object. And the same thing is true with the characters as well. I kind of prefer that you only see the damage on them after you've shot them. So there you go. I'll go ahead and get rid of this guy, and of course he can have his own death animation there, which you saw for a moment. And now I'm going to have to make a pretty big leap here to get over. There we go. Got a little extra diamond on the way out. And then I'm going to pause the video here because it's about to end anyway. The scene changed to an entirely different view. So you can support both side-scrolling and top-down or even isometric views, all within the same game here. And change the default character or the leader character out to an entirely different look on a per level basis. And you can also do that with your entire team of characters too. So if my lead character had a a secondary follower in there. You could also change his appearance, and you can do all sorts of things. Like, of course, this level will now change the gravity. There's not going to be a gravity. The controls are different now because previously we kind of were treating an up swipe or an up press on the directional D-pad like a jump, and that's not going to be the case here on a your kind of standard top-down view. Because up is just going up. It's not necessarily jumping. But I'll talk more about the top-down view in a different video.